politicians love being in power for their selfish reasons. But when they fail to improve the standard of living of their people, why should they still remain in power? This is a list of the 7 longest-serving African leaders, the GDP per capita of their countries, and their ranking among 208 countries. According to Investopedia, the standard of living is generally measured using per capita GDP. Standards of living are usually higher in developed countries. In fact, basic measures of standard of living, such as per capita GDP, are often used to define the differences between more and less developed countries. Number 1. Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo, the President of Equatorial Guinea, assumed office on August 3, 1979. He has been in power for 45 years, and the GDP per capita in his country is $6,200, ranking at 98 out of 208 countries. Number 2. Paul Biya, the President of Cameroon, who assumed office on November 6, 1982.
He's embarrassing himself and Cameroon on a world platform. It shouldn't be.
Pourquoi je suis en vedette? C'est qui tous ces gens qui sont là? Pourquoi je n'ai pas demandé ça? Est-ce qu'il y a des gens importants là?
Les ministres qui sont là. Le président Kagame a parlé, il est parti, introduit. Le monsieur vous a introduit. Il y avait un monsieur de vous qui vous a introduit.
Je dois parler maintenant.
Vous restez assis, parlez assis. Vous pouvez parler assis, étant assis.
Ici?
Oui.
Pourquoi?
I mean, it's so sad.
He has been in power for 42 years, and the GDP per capita in his country is $100, ranking at 173 out of 208 countries. Number 3. Yoweri Museveni, the President of Uganda, who assumed office on January 20, 1986.
I hear some people saying that I am their servant. I'm not a servant of anybody. I am a freedom fighter. That's what I do. I don't do it because that I'm your servant. I'm not your servant. I am just a freedom fighter. I'm fighting for myself, for my beliefs. That's how I come in. I'm not an employee. If anybody thinks he gave me a job, he's deceiving himself. I am just a freedom fighter whom you thought could help you also.
He has been in power for 38 years, and the GDP per capita in his country is $521, ranking at 194 out of 208 countries. Number 4. Isaias Afwerki, the President of Eritrea, assumed office on May 24, 1993.
It's a fabrication. How do you manage Africa? How do you manage these marginalized parts of the world? You create conflicts. Conflict between Eritrea and Ethiopia, conflicts here and there, internal conflicts, tribal, clan, ethnic, all sorts of conflicts are there. These are tools for intervention. If you don't bow, you are an authoritarian, you are a dictatorship, you are all sorts of ugly things in their own eyes. This has become very monotonous. It's boring. It's boring. And people have learned a lot. We say enough is enough. We have to build our economies. We have to jointly work to change the reality and create synergy, complementarity, cooperation is the name of the game. Their tools are dividing, weakening, inciting problems, conflicts, all sorts of conflicts. Africa has been marginalized possibly because of internal problems, but external intervention has been one of the cause of aggravation for the marginalization. So I think Africa has learned a lot, and Africa has more interest than anyone else to join in any solidarity so that we get out of this cycle.
He's been in power for 30 years, and the GDP per capita in his country is $1,400, ranking at 162 out of 208 countries. Number 5. Sassou Nguesso, the President of the Republic of the Congo, assumed office on October 25, 1997. He has been in power for 26 years, and the GDP per capita in his country is $1,300, ranking at 167 out of 208 countries. Number 6. Ismail Omar Guelleh, the President of Djibouti, assumed office on May 8, 1999. He has been in power for 24 years, and the GDP per capita in his country is $1,700, ranking at 158 out of 208 countries. Number 7. Paul Kagame, the President of Rwanda, who assumed office on April 22, 2000. He has been in power for 24 years, and the GDP per capita in his country is $601, ranking at 188 out of 208 countries. Let us know what you think in the comments section about long-serving leaders who have failed to improve the standard of living of their people, and do not forget to subscribe and like the content. Thanks for watching.